Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. A very smart woman does not chase a man. She positions herself so that the right man is drawn to her. See, a lot of people misunderstand intelligence. They think being smart means correcting everybody, proving every point, winning every argument. No, no, no. That's not what makes a woman attractive. What makes her powerful is how she uses her intelligence. Confidence without arrogance is magnetic. And let me explain something to you very clearly. There is a huge difference between a woman who knows she's valuable and a woman who is trying to prove she's valuable. A very smart woman doesn't walk into a room looking for approval. She walks in already approved by herself. She's not scanning faces to see who's watching. She's not adjusting her personality to fit the crowd. She's grounded. She's centered. And that energy right there, that's what pulls a man in before she even says a word. See, men can feel insecurity. You don't have to announce it. It shows in over-talking, over-explaining, over-texting, over-giving. But a confident woman moves differently. She speaks when she has something to say. She listens without interrupting. She laughs freely, but not desperately. She can compliment a man without feeling like she's lowering herself. That balance is powerful, because arrogance pushes people away, but confidence invites them closer. Now, arrogance, that's when someone believes they are above others. Confidence is knowing your worth without needing to compare. A very smart woman understands this distinction. She doesn't belittle a man to feel superior. She doesn't compete with him for dominance. She understands that attraction is not a competition. It's alignment. And when a man feels that she's secure in herself, he relaxes. He doesn't feel judged. He doesn't feel challenged in a negative way. He feels inspired. Let me tell you something else. Confidence is consistency. It's not loud on Monday and insecure on Friday. It's stable. A very smart woman doesn't let compliments inflate her ego, and she doesn't let criticism destroy her. She processes both with maturity. And when a man sees that her mood doesn't swing with every little thing, he feels safe around her. Stability is attractive. Peace is attractive. And here's the part people miss. Confidence shows in boundaries. When she says no, she means no. When she says she needs time, she takes time. She's not afraid that setting a boundary will scare a man away, because she understands something very important. The right man is not intimidated by strength. He is drawn to it. Weak men run from confident women because they cannot control them. Strong men step up because they recognize value. Confidence also means she's okay being alone. That's powerful. A woman who is comfortable by herself cannot be manipulated by attention. She won't tolerate inconsistency just because she fears loneliness. And when a man realizes that she doesn't need him to survive, he starts wanting to earn his place in her life. Desire grows when there is something to earn. A very smart woman doesn't chase validation through social media, through constant posting, through fishing for compliments. She doesn't measure her worth by likes, by followers, by how many men are in her messages. She measures it internally. And internal validation creates external attraction, because people are naturally drawn to those who are self-assured. And let me make this clear. Confidence is not about being perfect. It's about being authentic. A very smart woman is not pretending to be flawless. She owns her strengths and accepts her weaknesses without shame. That honesty creates depth, and depth is rare. When a man encounters a woman who is confident without arrogance, he feels something different. He feels respect. He feels curiosity. He feels the need to present his best self, because confidence sets the tone. It silently communicates, this is the level. And when the level is high but graceful, attraction becomes natural, not forced, not desperate, not dramatic, just natural. Intelligence expressed with warmth builds attraction. Now listen carefully, because this is where a lot of very smart women get misunderstood. Being intelligent is powerful, but how you deliver that intelligence makes all the difference. See, a man is not intimidated by a smart woman. He's intimidated by a woman who uses her intelligence to compete instead of connect. There's a difference. A very smart woman knows how to hold a conversation without turning it into a debate. She can challenge a thought without attacking the person. She can disagree without disrespect. And that right there, that's maturity. That's emotional intelligence. When a man feels like he can express his ideas without being corrected every 5 seconds, he relaxes, he opens up, he engages deeper. Warmth doesn't mean shrinking yourself. It doesn't mean pretending you don't know things. It means presenting your knowledge with grace. a soft tone, a genuine smile, eye contact that says, "I'm listening." A very smart woman understands that connection is more important than being right, and when a man feels understood instead of evaluated, attraction grows naturally. Let me tell you something else. Men are drawn to women who make them feel capable, not controlled, not managed, capable. A very smart woman knows how to ask questions instead of giving commands. Instead of saying, "That's not how it works," she might say, "Have you ever thought about it this way?" See the difference? Same intelligence, different delivery. One invites discussion, the other creates tension. And here's the truth. Warmth is power. It's not weakness. A calm voice can carry more influence than a loud one. A gentle laugh can break walls faster than sharp words. When intelligence is paired with kindness, it becomes magnetic. Because now a man doesn't just admire her mind, he feels safe around it. A very smart woman reads the room. She knows when to speak and when to listen. She understands timing. She doesn't dominate every conversation to prove she's the smartest person there. She allows space, and space creates curiosity. When she does speak, people lean in because her words carry weight. Now let's talk about humor. Intelligence with humor is deadly attractive. A quick wit, a clever response, playful teasing that keeps energy alive. But it's playful, not cutting. It's uplifting, not humiliating. A smart woman doesn't use sarcasm to embarrass a man in public. She protects his dignity. And when a man feels respected, he becomes protective in return. Another thing, warmth shows in empathy. A very smart woman understands emotions, not just facts. She can analyze a situation logically, but she also considers feelings. She knows when a man has had a long day and needs support instead of critique. She knows when to encourage instead of advise. That emotional awareness builds intimacy, because now he doesn't just see her as intelligent, he experiences her as understanding. And let's be real, nobody wants to feel like they're in an interview. Attraction isn't built on interrogation. A smart woman asks thoughtful questions, yes, but she also shares stories, laughs at mistakes, reveals pieces of herself slowly. She balances depth with lightness, serious conversations mixed with playful moments. That rhythm keeps the connection alive. Intelligence without warmth can feel cold. Warmth without intelligence can feel shallow. But when both are present, that's balance, that's presence, that's influence. A man will walk away thinking not only she's smart, but I like how I feel when I'm around her. And that feeling, that comfort mixed with admiration, is what turns attention into attraction. Standards and boundaries create respect. And let me tell you something clearly, attraction without respect does not last. A very smart woman understands that if a man does not respect her, whatever attention he gives her is temporary. So she doesn't focus on being liked. She focuses on being valued. Now, standards are not about demanding luxury, money, or perfection. Standards are about behavior. How do you speak to me? How consistent are you? Do your actions match your words? A very smart woman pays attention to patterns, not promises. Anybody can say the right thing in the beginning, but consistency, that reveals character. When she sets a boundary, she doesn't scream it. She states it calmly. I don't like being spoken to that way. I expect communication. If you cancel, let me know in advance. Simple, direct, no drama. And here's the powerful part. She enforces it. Because boundaries without enforcement are just suggestions. See, many women think if they set standards, they'll scare men away. Let me explain something. The wrong man will leave. And that's the point. Standards are filters. They are not walls to keep love out. They are doors that only open for the right behavior. A very smart woman is not afraid of losing someone who refuses to meet her expectations, because she understands that keeping someone who disrespects her is a bigger loss. Now let's talk about timing. A smart woman does not rush access. She doesn't give full emotional intimacy on day one. She doesn't give loyalty before commitment. She allows a man to earn deeper layers of her life, and that earning process builds value. Anything given too quickly is often taken for granted, but when access is gradual, appreciation grows. And here's something important. Boundaries are not punishments. They are protection. They protect her peace, her time, her energy. She doesn't entertain inconsistent texting for weeks. She doesn't accept being a secret. She doesn't tolerate disrespect disguised as humor. And she doesn't negotiate her self-respect for attention. A man actually respects what he cannot easily control. When he realizes that she will walk away rather than tolerate nonsense, something shifts in his mind. He understands that this woman is not desperate. She is selective, and selectiveness increases value. Let me be clear, being too available lowers mystery. Being overly accommodating lowers perceived value. A very smart woman has her own life, her own goals, her own schedule. She doesn't drop everything because a man suddenly decides he's free. She adjusts when it's mutual, not when it's one-sided. That balance communicates self-respect without saying a word. And when conflict happens, because it will, she doesn't explode. She addresses it directly. She doesn't ignore red flags hoping they will turn green. She speaks up early. That clarity prevents resentment. A smart woman knows that silence in the face of disrespect creates future pain. Now understand this, a strong man does not fear boundaries. He appreciates them because boundaries create clarity, and clarity removes confusion. When he knows what is acceptable and what is not, he knows how to lead properly. It creates structure, and structure creates security. Standards are not about ego, they are about alignment. If a man's behavior aligns with her values, the relationship flows. If it doesn't, she releases him without drama. She doesn't beg for change. She doesn't chase potential. She evaluates reality. And when a man sees that her time is valuable, her emotions are protected, and her standards are firm but fair, he approaches differently. He communicates better. He shows up more consistently. Because now he understands that access to her life is a privilege, not an entitlement. That respect, built from boundaries, is what transforms attraction into something deeper. Emotional control is more powerful than beauty. And let me tell you something that most people don't want to admit. Beauty might catch a man's eye, but emotional stability keeps his attention. A very smart woman understands that her reactions carry weight. The way she handles pressure, disappointment, jealousy, and misunderstanding determines how a man sees her long term. See, anybody can look good when things are going well. The real test is how you behave when things don't go your way. If he takes a little longer to text back, do you panic? If he disagrees with you, do you explode? If you feel insecure, do you accuse instead of communicate? A woman with emotional control doesn't let temporary feelings create permanent damage. Now, that doesn't mean she has no emotions. It means she manages them. She feels deeply, but she responds wisely. There's a difference. Reacting is instant and uncontrolled. Responding is thoughtful and intentional. A very smart woman pauses. She thinks. She asks herself, is this worth my peace? That pause alone separates maturity from chaos. Men are naturally drawn to peace. After a long day of pressure, competition, responsibility, the last thing a man wants is emotional turbulence. When he meets a woman whose presence feels calm instead of dramatic, it stands out. She doesn't turn small misunderstandings into big battles. She communicates clearly instead of playing mind games. And here's the powerful part. Emotional control shows strength, not loud strength, quiet strength, the kind where she doesn't need to raise her voice to be heard. She doesn't threaten to leave every time she's upset. She doesn't test him just to see if he cares. She expresses herself directly. That bothered me. I felt overlooked. Can we talk about this? Simple, honest, mature. A very smart woman also knows how to regulate jealousy. She doesn't compete with every woman in the room. She doesn't let comparison steal her confidence. If something makes her uncomfortable, she addresses it calmly. She trusts her intuition, but she verifies before reacting. That level of self-control builds trust, and trust deepens attraction. Let's talk about arguments. Conflict is normal, but chaos is optional. A woman with emotional discipline doesn't insult a man's character during disagreement. She addresses the issue, not his identity. She doesn't bring up old mistakes from 5 months ago just to win the moment. She focuses on resolution, not victory. And that right there changes everything. Because when a man feels safe discussing problems without being attacked, he stays engaged. He doesn't shut down. He doesn't withdraw. He leans in. Emotional safety creates emotional intimacy. Another thing, she doesn't allow temporary moods to control her consistency. If she's having a bad day, she communicates it instead of projecting it. I've had a long day. That awareness prevents unnecessary conflict. Emotional intelligence is not about suppressing feeling. It's about understanding them. Now here's a truth most people ignore. Unpredictability creates anxiety. Stability creates security. When a man knows that her mood isn't going to swing wildly without explanation, he relaxes. And relaxation strengthens connection. A very smart woman protects her peace like it's valuable, because it is. She doesn't argue in public. She doesn't post emotional messages online to get attention. She handles her business privately and maturely. That discretion builds respect, and over time, that emotional steadiness becomes more attractive than physical appearance ever could be, because beauty fades, trends change, but emotional stability, that's timeless. When a man realizes that being around her feels calm, balanced, and mature, he doesn't just feel attracted, he feels secure. And security is powerful. Mystery keeps a man curious. And let me explain something very important. Curiosity is the engine of attraction. The moment a man feels like he has you completely figured out, the excitement starts to fade. A very smart woman understands that attraction is not about revealing everything at once. It's about pacing. It's about layers. It's about allowing discovery to happen naturally. Now, mystery does not mean playing games. It does not mean being fake or pretending to be something you're not. It means you don't overshare too quickly. You don't tell your entire life story on the first date. You don't reveal every fear, every trauma, every dream in one conversation. Depth is powerful, but timing is everything. A very smart woman allows a man to earn access to deeper parts of her. She shares enough to build connection, but she keeps certain layers reserved for when trust has been established. And that right there builds value, because what is revealed slowly is appreciated more deeply. See, when you talk too much too soon, you remove the journey. And men love the journey. They love figuring things out. They love asking questions and discovering new sides of you over time. When there's something left to uncover, he stays engaged. His mind stays active. His interest grows instead of declining. Mystery also shows in independence. A smart woman doesn't narrate her every move. She doesn't feel the need to constantly update him on everything she's doing just to keep his attention. She has her own life, her own routine, her own goals. Sometimes she's busy. Sometimes she's unavailable. Not to create anxiety, but because she genuinely has priorities. That natural independence creates intrigue. And let's talk about social media. Oversharing online can kill mystery. When every thought, every emotion, every outing is posted publicly, there's no room for private discovery. A very smart woman keeps some things sacred. Some moments are shared privately, not broadcasted. That privacy increases intimacy, because now he feels like he's experiencing something exclusive. Mystery is also about emotional pacing. She doesn't confess deep feelings too early. She allows emotions to develop organically. If she likes him, she shows interest, but she doesn't overwhelm him with intensity before commitment exists. She lets anticipation build, and anticipation is powerful. Now understand this. Mystery is not about being distant or cold. It's about balance. She is warm, engaging, present, but not fully exposed. Think of it like reading a great book. If someone tells you the entire plot before you open it, would you still feel the same excitement? Probably not. But if each chapter reveals something new, you stay hooked. A very smart woman also understands silence, not awkward silence, intentional silence. She doesn't rush to fill every pause in conversation. Sometimes she lets him wonder what she's thinking. Sometimes she smiles without explaining everything. That subtle unpredictability keeps energy alive. And here's something powerful. Mystery creates respect. When a man knows that access to her world is gradual, he treats that access carefully. He becomes more intentional because he understands that depth with her is earned, not automatic. Over time, that steady unfolding of personality, ambition, humor, vulnerability, it keeps attraction fresh. It keeps curiosity alive. It prevents stagnation. Because at the end of the day, attraction isn't just about what a man sees. It's about what he's still discovering. And when there's always another layer, another story, another depth waiting to be uncovered, he stays interested, he stays invested, he stays curious. Self-worth determines how others treat you. And let me tell you something that changes everything. People don't decide your value. You do. A very smart woman understands that the way she sees herself becomes the standard for how the world sees her. If she doubts her worth, she will accept less. If she knows her worth, she will require more. It's that simple. Now, self-worth is not arrogance. It's not walking around thinking you're better than everyone else. It's walking around knowing you don't have to compete with anyone else. A very smart woman doesn't compare herself constantly. She's not threatened by other women's beauty, success, or attention, because she understands that someone else shining does not make her dim. When a woman truly values herself, it shows in what she tolerates. She does not beg for replies. She does not chase mixed signals. She does not over-explain her standards. If a man is inconsistent, she steps back. If he disrespects her, she addresses it once, clearly, and if it continues, she removes herself. Not dramatically, calmly. That calm exit speaks louder than any argument. See, self-worth creates emotional discipline. When you know you're valuable, you don't panic over temporary silence. You don't feel the need to prove yourself constantly. You don't shrink yourself to make someone else comfortable. A very smart woman does not pretend to be less intelligent, less ambitious, or less expressive just to keep a man interested. If he feels intimidated by her growth, he is not aligned with her future. And let me explain something powerful. When you respect yourself, you naturally expect respect. It's not something you demand aggressively. It's something you embody. The tone of your voice, the way you carry yourself, the boundaries you set, all of it communicates value. A man picks up on that energy immediately, and he will either rise to meet it or remove himself. A woman with self-worth also understands timing. She doesn't rush commitment just because she fears losing someone. She understands that the right man will stay consistent. She allows actions to reveal intention. She doesn't fall in love with potential. She evaluates reality because self-worth protects her heart from fantasy. Another thing, she invests in herself, mentally, emotionally, physically, not for male attention, but for personal growth. She reads, she learns, she improves, she builds her own goals. That independent growth creates depth, and depth attracts quality. Now here's the truth. The way you treat yourself teaches others how to treat you. If you cancel your plans every time he calls, you show him your time isn't valuable. If you ignore your own discomfort to avoid confrontation, you teach him that your feelings are negotiable. But when you prioritize your peace, your goals, your dignity, you create a standard. Self-worth also means forgiveness, not for him, but for yourself. A very smart woman doesn't stay stuck in shame over past mistakes. She learns, she adjusts, she grows, and that growth builds confidence because she knows she can handle life without depending on someone else to complete her. And when a man meets a woman who knows her value, something shifts inside him. He doesn't test boundaries recklessly. He doesn't play unnecessary games because he senses that she will walk away if necessary. And that awareness creates respect. Attraction may begin with appearance, it may grow with conversation, but it solidifies with self-worth. Because when a woman truly believes she is worthy of consistency, loyalty, effort, and love, she will not accept anything less. And that unwavering belief becomes the foundation of how she is treated.